PHA, 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 PHA.
PHA prides itself in being a knowledge share platform. I came across an insightful quote by Miles Kington, and I quote, "Knowledge is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad." That was on a lighter but thoughtful note to announce our panel discussion, Human and Nature Balance, a Housekeeping Perspective, moderated by Dr. Madhu Chandok, Director and Founding Partner, PIP 2020, and Honorary Advisor, PHA.
Our distinguished panelist, Ms. Meenu Tognata, Executive Divisional Housekeeper, ITC Hotels, Ms. Niranjan Khatri, Founder, iSambhav, Ms. Maya Chauhan, Head of Housekeeping, ITC Grand Chola, and Mr. Sridhar L., Head Sustainability, BIAL. Let's now take a glimpse at their profile of the moderator and the panelist. May I now invite the
PHA, PHA, PHA.
Dr. Madhu Chandok. Dr. Madhu Chandok is a hospitality professional with a master's in business management and over 37 years of extensive project and design development experience in all phases of planning.
Good afternoon to everyone. We have started a bit late, but we'll try our best to actually do justice to the subject that we are to talk. So I will call on stage all the panelists, Mr. Sridhar, Ms. Maya Chauhan, Mr. Niranjan Khatri, and Ms. Meenu Tognata. So we'll just take your seats. Good morning, good afternoon, and namaskar to each one of you sitting here. And we are very happy to have a lot of you come here. We have already tried to capture some of the thoughts by the eminent guest speakers who have put some thoughts on our subject line, which is human and nature balance, a housekeeping perspective, and sustainability, how we take it forward. We have heard about this, and we at PHA have tried to make this conference also a green conference by doing our bit and adding it to the conference. Sustainable housekeeping programs are very much prevalent these days, and this word has been going on for quite some time. We today will try and deliberate among the eminent panelists with their experience and their initiatives to see how we actually go forward and can contribute to the planet by reducing our carbon footprint and also doing justice to Mother Earth to where we belong and from where we come each day. So it has to be a process. So I would like to start with Mr. Sridhar. Mr. Sridhar, what I would like to, first of all, I would like to congratulate you on achieving the Terminal 2 IGBC rating, and a lot has gone into planning and putting it all together to even meet the parameters that your team and you may have led that. So what we will start is, what do you understand by sustainability according to you, so that you could share your thoughts with the audience, and why do you think it is required? We do hear this word very often, but your thoughts would be really good for us to capture. Sure. You have to just press the... You have to long press.
Take this. I think it's working. Yeah, it's working. Thank you for your nice words. I mean, it's tireless efforts of the management commitment and tireless efforts of the multiple teams across the organizations who have ensured that milestone, a great achievement, USGBC pre-certified and IGBC fully certified. To your question on what is sustainability. So sustainability have multiple definitions over a period of time. In a very simple terms, if you put it, which many of us use it across the globe, sustainable development is a type of development that not only meets the needs of the current generations, but it also doesn't compromise the needs of the future generations. What does it mean in a very, very simple terms? Live, let live. Today, what we have, what we cherish, what the resources, what we have, it should be there for the generations to come. In a very, very day-to-day practical sense, if you take it, it's not that resources, what is there in front of us is only created by the nature or the God for us. It's for the generations to come because it has a limited quantity available. There are a lot of resources which for generations to cherish. If you just put it into very much of a triangle, people, planet, and profit, the three most important thing on sustainability aspects, which all of us will agree and we're all working on it, which is not new to you, but I wanted to touch upon that because the equal importance of that sustainability comes on people, the Mother Earth, the planet, and also the economic sustainability. All have to coexist. Your next question, why is it required? I mean, everybody talks about sustainability. Many of our eminent guests today all touched upon that. It has become a buzzword. Why? Whether it was not existing earlier, or it has just been invented now. For generations, I think unknowingly we practice sustainability. And today what has happened is, for a variety of reasons, in between as a humankind, many of us have slightly forgotten the sustainable practices, which we have been using it unconsciously. Now we have to bring in a conscious attempt to make the sustainable, because we have been thinking till now like we have to make a sustainable future. All of us are talking about future generations, but the type of impacts what we are getting today, we are already seeing the climate change impacts and everything. So without taking much into it, sustainability is required for us to survive and also to the future generation. It is even required for our generation to survive. So that is how we look at it from a perspective of why it is required.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sridhar, for your thoughts. And I come now to Mr. Khatri. First of all, I congratulate you on your passion, your contribution to the industry on this subject line, and your journey has been very encouraging for many. So my first question to you would be, could you please briefly share with us how you entered in 1988 and how and what were the key management learnings that you acquired during your journey? It would really motivate a lot sitting in this room and us as well on the dais.
I did not know the spelling of environment in 1988. And I was nudged into this subject by late Admiral Govil, who asked me to address the cardboard packed lunch boxes which are lying all over the island. So foolishly, I told him, yes, sir, I'll do something, not knowing what I'll do. And similarly, I got a request from the conservator of forests a month later. Niranjan, I got only 7 people to look after 200 square kilometers, and your 50,000 tourists from various hotels, they damaged the corals, they damaged the mangroves. Please do something about it. And a foolish young person that I was, I said, yes, sir. I did nothing. And then the internal clock started ticking and said, hey, you're bullshitting to everybody. So then I tried to fish for ideas from my heads of departments who were there for a longer period than I was. And I said, you have any ideas? Because the feedback is very valid and we need to do something. And there was definitely silence from them. And thereafter, the first step I took was to put a small sticker on the packed lunch box stating that please do not litter the island, please bring it back to the hotel for disposal. And this led to 50% reduction in littering. And I didn't know those days that a concept that we started in 1988 will become extended producer responsibility, which is prevalent globally for many products. But I was not happy with 50% compliance. And we said, okay, let's get rid of this cardboard packed lunch box, and we shifted to steel tiffin box. And therefore, in a manner of speaking, we got into Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and circular economy, and then scaled this up as I moved from the islands to the mainland. And there were a lot of learnings in this, that If we apply our mind, things can be done, and there is a lot of common sense to be used in this subject. IQ is not everything, and we learned eco-design, that is the art of identifying opportunities where none exist. For example, I'm so happy that PHA has been able to convince all the stakeholders to have a green conference where we don't see plastic bottles, where the temperature is now, I think, 26 degrees. Old days, the temperature used to be 22 degrees. So we have to be cognizant of what are the challenges and internalize it. We all become very glib in talking about these words, but we're not internalizing it. And somebody, I think it was Gaurav Miglani, who talked about luxury. And I'd like to point out that luxury for our guests should not cause misery to others. But unfortunately, from many industries' perspective, the way we use energy, water, etc., needs to be moderated. We need to introduce a concept called resource modesty on a grand scale and not hide behind brand standards. Oh, my brand says, no, you cannot do this or you cannot do that. That luxury we do not have in this country because we are a country with huge disparity, and I need not go into that. And if we don't change, and the other learnings I derived over there was, I acquired dyslexia there. That means I couldn't read the rule books. So we need to acquire this disease called dyslexia, where you avoid the rule book, break the rules, not in a derogatory manner, and do things which have not been done before. And when somebody in the last session said, have we made transformative changes? Lots of hands went up. And I think it was Vikram. And he said, do you think we have made changes after COVID? I said, no, we haven't made transformative changes at all. And perhaps we have forgotten a lot of lessons learned during the COVID phase. So the subject's very vast, but I'll stop here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Khatri, for your words and for your journey and experiences. And I think each one of us has to do their bit. So I come to you, Meenu, and first of all, congratulations on the award.
Thank you
and
so much.
And also your contribution to the industry. Meenu has been a mentor so many, and I would say she's inspired me as well. So I really thank for you to be there for the fraternity and for PHA. So
thank you.
I think I would ask you a question based on your experience on the soft skills sustainability part. That means how diverse and your vast experience in housekeeping the industry needs to work upon, according to you, where there is probably a gap. According to you, with your vast experience, what is it that the industry needs to do?
See, first of all, since morning from from all the speakers, we've been hearing about it, the sustainability and the environment and everything. What is most important is that many brands are already working towards it, but lot many brands need to work towards it. So, and working towards this doesn't mean that, you just have to talk about it or you just have to come in forums and speak about it. The journey has been started with the organizations and has to be now taken forward. So in this sense, for us to reach to the national level or international level as our government talks, we have a lot to catch upon. We have to rejuvenate the resources. We have to conserve them. We have to control over the consumption and bring in the change in the consumer behavior. Just now, Mr. Khatri said that pre-COVID, what was the behavior? During COVID, what was the behavior? After COVID, what has been the behavior of our customers? So, consumptive behavior also has to change. We people, if our guest is a consumer and we are the service providers and we are providing that service, where the behavioral changes have to happen. So we have to start looking at 5 R's, where we say about reduce, recycle, reuse, check on your requirements, what you need, and check at the resources that you have, how you are going to use them. So the housekeepers have to work a lot towards the inventory control, not hoard the things. Take as much you need, and we have to work upon the vendors to provide the services ASAP. If you need something in 1 month, it must come to you. But don't hoard it for 6 months. Don't hoard it as annual inventories. So there is a lot that need to change in service designs, in our WPs, which we call as our procedures, and towards our key, styles of working. It must change. And at the same time, as he rightly said, the luxury doesn't lie in bathtub. It doesn't lie in filling up the bathtub with so much water. That we need to tell our customer the luxury is to save water, not waste water. Not only waste water, the energy, the sources, the electricity. As he said that, look at the temperature, and I was so happy when Jayashree announced and said that wear light cotton and come, or wear the comfortable clothes that you can, feel comfortable with, and lot many other things, as he rightly said, that we should reduce plastic, we should reduce consumption. And we have noticed that we are not filling the complete glass of water and wasting it. Pour as much you can consume. So there are a lot of behavioral changes which need to come in our customers and in our service providers as well. And at the same time, for the forums like this to put forward and take it to the bodies to get recognition, and organization needs to reward those people who work towards it.
Thank you, Minu. And you are so right that we need to understand and look a little bit inwards. And that's what will help us identify where we have. And in my journey, I know we don't have much time. We are already running late. But just I wanted to share one thing while Minu was talking, it was coming in my mind that even when we were on the operations and looking at ordering, I think it's so important to look at our inventories lying in a store and our dead stocks. What is lying for years or months that we have not used, and the use. And if we are a cluster hotel, what can be used probably in another property. So these are some of the practices which does not need investment. So some of these changes of processes, Minu, as you rightly pointed, so many of them will definitely add value. So coming to you, Maya, first of all, again, a big congratulations, because the Swachh Hotel Award from the Chennai Corporation for 3 consecutive years, with your leadership and your team support, I think it's commendable. And ITC as such has persuaded this journey and I think led in the industry for over a decade now. And we would like you to just share with the audience some of the ITC initiatives that we can all be inspired and probably incorporate in our own hotel and hospitality brands as such.
Thank you, Madhu. I would like to take you through some of the initiatives that ITC and at ITC Grand Chola that we have taken towards sustainability. I'm sure all of you would be glad to know that 15 of our luxury collection hotels have been LEED Platinum certified, few welcome hotels and many more to add to the portfolio. This all could not have been possible without taking some sustainable initiatives at the unit. I don't know how many of you have been to Grand Chola, ITC Grand Chola. When this hotel was getting ready, all of us know that it is inspired by the Chola dynasty. We had hired 70 local artisans to get this hotel ready. The great chariot that is there at the grand staircase, made out of Panchloha, was also done by the local artisans. So, we've done a lot to ensure that we source local artisans to, help us in our building our hotels. Not only that, in terms of F&B, we source a lot of local ingredients to, promote the local love that is there. So ITC has gone a long way to ensure that, we do something locally for the local people, local artisans. Like somebody just now, one of the leaders had mentioned that 3 years down the line, we will not have people or trained people for us to run the operations of the housekeeping. So how do we sustain to continue with this kind of operations? What we have done at ITC Grand Chola is we have started to employ apprentices, because very difficult to get trained resources from catering colleges. We have a lot of apprentices whom we have started to train. Let me tell you, I mean, if you just train them, they're equally good as your, senior most resources also. So we need to retain this talent by training them. We can't expect to get trained resources all the time. But yes, these apprentices are also equally good. So this is how we can retain the resources and continue with their housekeeping operations. That is going to be very difficult 3 years down the line, like some of the leaders said, to get trained resources. So these are some of the initiatives. Yes, at ITC Grand Chola, I'm sure this water is not packed in plastic. We are looking at, all of us are looking at doing away with zero plastic, which is not possible. But yes, we are at least trying with a single-use plastic to eradicate single-use plastic, like the plastic water bottles. We've started using Shunya Aqua. Our product is called Shunya Aqua, which is 0 mile. That means the water has not traveled. We get this water at the unit. We have a atmospheric water generator, which is there on our terrace, which captures water from the atmosphere and then gets treated and gets filled in these kind of bottles, and this is what we serve. I'm sure you'll be surprised to know that in a year, annually, we've done away with around 11 lakhs of plastic water bottles, which is a big sustainable initiative that we have taken. So yes, Madhu, these are some of the initiatives. We can go on and on because there is no end to this.
Please add.
I'm glad you spoke about water, Maya. And from a housekeeping perspective, I'd like to focus on water a little more. I'd like to ask our housekeepers, how much water is required for a toilet roll? I'm sure most of you don't have the answers, right? It requires about 7 gallons of water for one toilet roll. It requires 1.7 kilowatt of energy to make it, plus chemicals. And just see, in Canada, they cut virgin trees to make toilet paper. It's a beautiful example of A category product being used for a C category need, and that also is not hygienic. Today we have hygiene faucets in our hotels. Do you need to keep the toilet paper along with that? Yes, if somebody wants it, please charge him or her $5. Let's see how they ask you for a toilet paper. So that kind of disruptive design you need to bring into housekeeping. I've gone to many beautiful places across the country, and when I reach there, the first thing I do is I switch off all the lights and I open the curtain, and the view that I get is so beautiful. I keep telling the housekeepers, why are you hiding this view? This is a wow moment for you, and at no cost you are reducing your operating cost. So you have to become green businessmen, ladies and gentlemen, and go a little deep into the subject. And today you are so lucky that you have a question in your mind, you get the answers from Google Core. Please take advantage of that and see how you disrupt. Now don't tell me that, oh, this is X brand standard and B brand standard. We in India, we have lived sustainability for a long time. We should set the tone and the tenor for the rest of the world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khatri, and you are so right that we have to be the change for working in this direction that we all can contribute to. So, Mr. Sridhar, if you can just also share, like Maya shared from the ITC perspective, the BIAL perspective to add, and their vision, their strategy, and also their journey.
Sure, thank you. Touch lives by nurturing a sustainable future through initiatives that drive economic, social, and environmental transformation. Touching lives, that's our sustainability vision. We wanted to touch lives and create a sustainable future. So we have strategized into 6 key strategic pillars, the entire operations into water stewardship, net zero carbon emission, sustainable procurement, sustainable mobility, community-aligned noise management, and circular economy. We have 3 core foundational values to support it: corporate social value, behavioral change, and compliance. When we say behavioral change, some of us have been talking, the fellow panel members also, on the behavioral change, a sustainable transformation, which is the key. Because we on technologies, we can digitize, we can get the best of the technologies, and then have successes which are short-term to the medium term, any organization. But to have a long-term sustained vision and for the 100% fruits to be cherished, the sustainable transformation has to happen from all the stakeholders. So we give equal importance to the technology, interventions, and then changing the infrastructure, and also sustainable transformation of all the stakeholders, so that the ESG gets embedded into the organization's DNA. That is why we also adopted a toughest thing, a sustainable procurement. In our view, we feel more challenging thing because it's not in our direct zone of influence. Remaining all the pillars, by and large, are in our direct zone of influence, like water, the way we responsibly use water. We are a water positive organization. Our water positive index is 2.36. We replenish more water than we consume. We are a carbon neutral airport, and now we have moved to level 4 plus of airport carbon accreditations, highest international rating for any airport. Very few airports across the globe have got this type of an accreditation. And we have committed 2030 scope 1 and 2 net zero carbon emissions, which is 20 years ahead of many of the peer airports across the globe. Our 1.5 degree pathway to reduce the impacts of carbon emissions, reduction GHG emissions, well below IPCC interpanel government panels. There is a guideline for every industry. Every year from your baseline, how much you have to reduce. We are reducing 2 to 3 times more than that, significantly higher than that. So we are well within that path. So when I come to sustainable procurement, we also wanted to take all these things to our supply chain, which is going to be a toughest journey, which we have started off. We are meeting the early successes to create a culture across the supply chain, so it becomes a 360-degree approach to sustainability. Because today, we have to start from our house. When I say house, it's not only an organization, even as individuals, our house, as individuals, we have to take the sustainability into our DNA. Then comes at an organization level, the customers as well as the supply chain. Then it becomes a very inclusive sustainability approach for a better future. And in this process, we are also given a lot of focus on circular economy, how we can ensure the resource efficiency, the type of waste recovery. We are largely an 100% renewable electricity consumption organization. Around 100 million units of our electricity consumption is powered by renewable sources. It's not only for our aviation operations. We have been consistently also achieving, including our concessionaires and the partners who are available in this 4,000-acre campus, we are ensuring a renewable electricity. So that is taking our scope 2 emissions almost zero, because we are 100% renewable. So these are all, how is it possible? It is all because of the management commitment, the type of drive, the type of team's involvement, because sustainability has never been a single man, single team, or a single function's job. It's like a culture of an organization has to get embedded. Then only we will be able to think beyond what is our normal operations, so that we can take it to all our stakeholders and do that. I think we have a less short of time. I will not articulate much on it. I will only touch upon one point. All our new constructions, the latest Terminal 2 building, which we have which has been inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister last year, it's certified for USGBC, pre-certified, and IGBC fully certified platinum rating. What does it mean, platinum rating? We are committed to have our infrastructure with all green building principles with respect to natural lights, water efficiency. We are using rainwater for the operations and renewable electricity, the type of quality of indoor air quality. And there's a terminal in a garden concept. Because when we say a net zero climate change, scope 1 and 2, there will be some residual emissions which we do not want to offset through any carbon credits. For that minuscule residual emissions which may have to live with it in 2030, we will be sequestering through the green landscape within our airport. We will absorb those carbon scientifically. We will not embark on it. So on this concluding note, while we have shared this particular journey of BIAL, the type of successes in the last 15 years, what we have committed and what we have strategized for 2030, One thing is something which we thought we'll share it with everybody. Don't ever take sustainability as a corporate goal. Sincere request is that let's all of us introspect. Sustainability should be an individual goal. It starts from home, it starts from our DNA, comes to the organization and takes it to the Mother Earth. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Khatri, I would like you to just focus on an extension of the thoughts of Mr. Sridhar. And I know you were very keen to come in, but I have a question that you can also embed in, which is, what are the macro trends that housekeepers need to know so that they can convince their senior organizations to take, eco-responsible and decisions and be proactive about it? So you can... Yeah, the macro.
It's a well-known fact that our industry is very resource intensive, right from the mining stage to the transportation, the production of products and use phase. And hidden in these challenges are opportunities for reducing cost and laugh your way to the bank. And I'll just give you a few examples. When you are, the building industry, when it's building any kind of buildings, whether hotels or housing projects, they generate 40 to 60 kgs of construction debris per square meter. You're paying out of your pocket. So if Maya is your architect, next time when you give her an order, tell her, I want you to reduce this construction debris by 50%. And if she doesn't play ball with you, step on her toes and tell her, I'm going to use Meenu Tognata as the next architect. So you need your economic clout to bring about change amongst the consultants too, number one. Number two, I'm very happy that Sridhar is a co-panelist here, and he's from BIAL, and my mouth is salivating, because there are so many things that you have done which is not known to the public. And you have, I don't know how many million touch points, and if you bring these electronic gadgets, which tells the customers when they are waiting for their flight, what you have done in the campus, etc., and what tips that they can follow at home in order to reduce their water footprint or energy footprint. So let me talk about water footprint. How many of you offer water to your guests and your family members on basis of their thirst quotient? We don't have a meter out here, so see how thirsty Niranjan Khatri is. Is it an emergency, half or full, right? But our habit is to give full water. Can you switch over to offering small peg and large peg of water to your own family members to begin with? I'm sure some of you are laughing. I want you to laugh louder, because when you do the calculation and how much water you waste per day, and I have done some very conservative calculations, we waste 200 crore liters of unconsumed water every day. And all of us say water is a problem. If it's a problem, then there has to be a transformational change in the way you are using water. In my home, we have shifted from Turkish towel to 100 GSM towel. So a Turkish towel consumes about 22 liters to wash. 100 GSM water requires about 2 or 3 liters of water. Now see the disruption that we can cause in the hotel industry globally if we move away from Turkish towel to GSM towel. Now somebody will say, hey, this is a Kaka hotel or what? But if you put a proper communication to the guest and put that 100 GSM towel and that other towel, slowly people will see the connect. We should not be shy in our industry to communicate cleverly. We are very shy on this subject of sustainability. While selling our other products, we come out with very beautiful languages. And I'm talking of a hospitality industry on a global scale.
Thank you, Mr. Khatri. And I think as a last question to all the panelists, what is one thing that you would like to recommend on our topic to the eminent audience here as well, that they can practice to add their own bit? So a drop in the vast ocean which we have in front of us to actually reach, how can we do our bit? So one bit. Mr. Khatri, maybe we can start.
Sure. Thank you. Is it okay if I steal time from you?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Yes.
Right.
We will not allow resources to be stolen, but at the moment, yes, we have time in our hand, we can allow it to be stolen.
I think one of the areas that our industry needs to focus on is the human dimension. We are very poor on that. And I'm not talking of our formal staff. We handle them with TLC, tender loving care. And again, I'm talking generally of all industries, that when it comes to handling casual staff, we handle them very casually. And therefore, there's a very beautiful organization. I met this lady about 2 months back in a conference. She started an organization called Hak Darshak. In English, it translates into Your Rights, Her Pathway. The government of India has got a whole lot of schemes for underserved people in this country, wherein they are entitled to 1,000 rupees per month or 500 rupees per month or some insurance, etc., which these people, many of them are not aware of it, and those who may be aware of it, they don't know how to fill up the forms to gain access to these schemes. So my humble request to all of you is that, can you organize camps in your respective organization for the casual laborers and your supply chain? And if you gather them together, they can come and do a presentation, and they will do the needful, and they'll charge some nominal amount to each person, because the details you can get from this lady. Her name is Gayatri Shanmugam. She's based out of Bangalore, but they have a pan-India presence. Now, the other thing that we need to do on this front is that there are very simple things that we can do. I discovered about 2 years back that for a sum of 12 rupees, my driver gets insurance of 2 lakh. So as soon as he joined me, I got him this insurance for 12 rupees, and unfortunately he passed away after a year or so, and his sister got 2 lakh. Now, what am I leading to? I am saying that people who are down the line, the underserved society of this country, and there are a huge number of them, 80% of them, how do we make them more resilient financially through these schemes, where I'm not asking Maya to give money from her hotel's pocket or Baal to put money from their own pocket. If I ask them to do that, they'll become hearing and speech impaired, right? I am giving them opportunities of tapping initiatives of government which have untapped. And this organization has already managed to leverage 5,000 crores for the underserved. So please focus on the human dimension and use your supply chain, especially talk to your F&U manager or chef, and get the farmers to start bank of nutrition in their respective villages, because 75% of ladies and men are malnourished in this country. Government of India cannot do everything. So if these farmers start a bank of nutrition and grow the following plants, moringa, papaya, guava, lime, amla, etc., in their respective villages, they raise their nutrition profile. Through partnership with some people in Bangalore, we have already rolled it out in 106 villages. And while I was coming for this meeting today, a gentleman whom I know who's in Telangana, he wants to roll it out in 475 villages in Telangana. It's not a very costly exercise, but it'll add great value to the nutrition profile, and the co-benefits will be that the green cover will go up. India has got only 28 trees per person. China has got 146 trees per person. Canada has got 9,000 trees per person. With climate change already at our door, if we don't increase our green cover, we have a lot of problem. Thank you.
Meenu, your thoughts, Meenu?
See, what Mr. Khatri has put a very, like a large, at the moment, a very big challenge in front of all of us. And definitely, once we start working towards this, you do achieve. But keeping in mind that at the moment I have this housekeeping forum, and my message to the housekeepers goes that what's most important is to apply 5S very, very critically into your hotels, which is like you need to sort, you need to shine, you need to sustain, you need to set your house in order and work towards sustainability. Very, very important for a housekeeper to know what is where. Not that it is in one store and it is just like that. And how much chemicals do you need? How much linen do you need? How much towels do you need? How much load are you putting on this system? Like he said about a toilet roll, I will say about a bathrobe. How much does a bathrobe, thick towel bathrobe, needs to be washed? Hundreds of bathrobes come down in the laundry. And we have said that it is important for us to calculate the gallons of water goes in maintaining those. So can we relook at, can the vendors come up with suggestions and some kind of, changeover? Of course, as he said, from towel to the GSM. I wouldn't say remove all the towels today. I would say just add one more towel of 100 GSM and see if your customer wants to use it or not use it. So we always do some pilots, and kind of pilots where you bring in the change, maintain the kind of luxury that you want to, you call it a luxury, but looking at the resources, as he said, that we need to do the rainwater harvesting, we need to do solar energy calculations and utilization, and biogas, chemical biogas utilizations, where are we doing it, how are we controlling our and reducing our waste. As housekeeper, we used to stand and look at the garbage that used to go out and see now and weigh and calculate and segregate very, very consciously. And those are the kind of work detailing also, if you start doing, your contribution will be tremendous and it will bring in results. Like PHA, today in 8 years we are bringing in these kind of results. You wait and watch in coming another 3-4 years how globally it is going to spread. Similarly, lot of work in these fields are happening. Lot of experts within this room also must be sitting who can throw so much light. But at my simple take goes that we start working towards individually and as professional towards our department in utilizing the philosophy of 5S. Thank you.
Just before answering this final round of question, just one point which came to my mind. We spoke in the earlier question about what we do inside the organization, supply chain to the customers. So community is an equal important aspect in the BIAL's overall sustainability strategy, because we have divided that into the areas of education, health, the local culture, and the local water, Namma Nela, Namma Jala. The Namma Sikshana, the education part is, we have positively impacted more than 1,500 school children. We have adopted many schools, government schools, and operating those schools under the CSR flagship program. So where in which we are bringing the holistic change. Why I'm just bringing that point here is that we are able to make a positive contribution to start a journey there by creating a positive behavioral change in the minds of the school-going children from their early pre-KGs and primary classes. We are taking sustainability into their day-to-day. Seeing is believing. So in the schools, we are equipping the rainwater recharge, the solar part of it, the type of waste reduction, including the food waste in the food, what is being served to them, the importance of food and its how much we should not waste it. So these type of things, catch them young is one thing which people say for a behavioral change. So these type of introductions also to the CSR program, we are doing it. There are many things. I think we should not be, loading all the information over here. So we wanted to convey a message of extending on that to your profession, the housekeeping professionals, the professional housekeepers. My thought process is one thing, point of, where which you can consider. All the experts in the field have already said about what are all the potentials there for the professional housekeepers to do. What comes to my mind is that undoubtedly you are the brand ambassadors of sustainability for your organizations. Taking it one step higher, you are brand ambassadors, not only brand ambassadors, you are creating champions of sustainability. There are many of your customers, for all of them it's a second home when they stay even for a day, 2 days in your hotels. And there are many people stay more in hotels than homes because of their professional requirements, traveling. So it is their second home. If all this positive behavior, sustainability, the way we make them understand, once get into their DNA, they go back as sustainability champions. So from now on, my request is as please consider yourself, you are not only an ambassador, you are creating ambassadors, and that is going to positively impact the society at a large in the next decade, because this is how this collective collaboration of we have to positively get infected, not like COVID, positively get infected with these good habits, which should cover the entire country and the world at a large. So I think I am concluding with this. You need not have to bear with me further. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Maya?
Yeah, I think all of us sitting in this room are privileged to have been exposed to sustainability and what are the initiatives that we take. But at home, do we realize that the maid who is segregating waste, we tell us, waste segregate, but does she know why the waste has to be segregated? Or running tap, she's washing the bartan. She doesn't know. She's just opening the tap and just washing it. It's our responsibility to ensure that we educate them not to waste water, but why. Why are we segregating the waste? Why are we ensuring that we don't waste water? Do they even know? Because they're not exposed to this kind of exposure that we have. So it's very important, like you said, as ambassadors for us to, train people down the line.
Yeah, Mr. Khatri has one last point to add, and then I'll just conclude the session.
We are all talking about climate change, and the hotels have an opportunity of changing their landscaping from ornamental to medicinal and edible. So 10% of their food should come from their own garden. And there are many hotels with a lot of acreage of land with landscaping. It's hemorrhaging their bottom line. Let the landscape give you some money back, generate some money for you. And this way you'll reduce your carbon footprint also, because the food comes from a distance of 60, 70 kilometers. To start these small models, and how it'll get scaled up is going to get scaled up in the cities also by leveraging the rooftop space.
Yeah. So to conclude the session, and before we go across to the panelists, to the audience for any questions if they may have to for the panelists, I just want to spend just half a minute to just put together the gist of the conclusion by the eminent panelist. So we have to learn, all of us, to be brand ambassadors of sustainability, each one of us. And the second, which came from Maya, that we need to start at home. So it is like a rippling effect that we need to initiate at our own grassroots level. The other is the 5 S's that Meenu mentioned. So each one of us, in our own capacity, in our hotels and organizations, if we start practicing these 5 S's, I'm sure we'll make some difference to our organization and our society, to the environment and to our Mother Earth, who we owe a lot. And last but not the least is the human management part, which is the most sensitive part. Sustainability can be done through practices, through SOPs. But unless and until we have that care approach, that empathy approach towards our fellow beings which are there, and without their support, and I am a very firm believer, the triangle is inverted today. It's no more a triangle where we are on the top. We are here at the lower, and we should be able to take their load, whether it is at work or at their personal level. This is very important. So now I throw for the last 2 or 3 minutes that we have to a couple of questions from the audience, if there's any.
Please raise your hands if you have a question. Because of shortage of time, we'll just take about 1 or 2 questions. So,
Mike is here. Anyone like to ask questions? Do let me know. I'll come around. Anyone? Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mrs. Arnu Pillai from Government Hotel Management College. My question is to Meenu Madam. Madam, when we are teaching linen room and we talk about par stock, so because of sustainability now, what we should tell them, that what will be the par stock for the linen? Will it be same or it will be different now?
Almost 40 years back, I started my career with the industry. That time we started with the par, saying that 5 par is the thumb rule and the international standard and level. Why we should have 5 par? What is the mean of par? Is one is in circulation, one is in room, one is in the laundry, and one is kept in the shelf, and the other one is like a stock. So things changed. Almost, I would say 10 to 15 years back, when we started to work on 4 par, we said that our vendors are available who will supply us very fast. So what we should do is that we will not be having an extra par in the stores, but we will definitely give shelf life to the linen and start working on 4 par. Then came the economy drive, and at that time it started to move the standard to 3.5 par. Then as a thumb rule for every item we said 3.5 par will work. Many models came after that for the business, that if your business is 80%, let's work on the 80% linen. We will not go for one par would be 100%, remaining pars would go as a circulation for 80%. That model also didn't work because we definitely needed quality. So we started to reduce from the bed, which is covered bed, which was used to have bed cover. So bed cover went away, exposed bed came, which is a complete white bed and it's showing, and customer will be able to notice if there is any defect, if there is any hole or anything. But you cannot go less than 3 par, which one definitely is in the room and one is in the, with the worker who is replacing it and doing this service, and the other one which is in the laundry for wash, etc. But definitely the new trend which is coming up is that should we be giving the 5-layer bed to our customer, where we put 5 pillows, where we put 3-4 bed sheets, an inner sheet, an outer cover, and an upper cover, etc., etc. So becoming conscious and sustainable and contributing towards it, the new trend which is coming is that we should be able to give the exposed bed. We should be able to train them for minimum 2 to 3 hours. We cannot survive with 2 hours because there is no time for linen to rest and keep coming back into the circulation. It's putting pressure on your spine, asking laundry to keep giving back what you have thrown as dirty. So there are a lot of service models that have come where internationally, when you're traveling, they say, do you want housekeeping service? Do you want the housekeeping service? If you don't want, I will compensate. They give you a few dollars back, and if you don't take the service. What is the benefit that they are deriving? They are giving you money, but at the same time, they are not washing your linen, nobody is coming for cleaning, they are not changing your towels or anything. You are reusing them for the next day, reusing them for the next day. It is up to you. So many a times, many a places, 2 pars are also working that way. But whereas for the education purpose that you're talking about, 3 par at the moment is the thumb rule, on below which if we work, it doesn't give the good feel factor of the luxury collections and the 5-star hotel where people are coming and paying you for this thing, for their experience. So we need to come up with the new ideas, like Mr. Khatri said, put 100 GSM towel, see if the customer is liking it or not. Try and educate them. Gradually, if these things work, then definitely this par level, which we keep teaching our students, will definitely keep changing. So from 5 to 3, it has already come. But from 3 to go below, it is a subject. And it's that how strong is your spine to be able to circulate and churn out that quality for you, which you have already promised to your customer. That's my take to it.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Meenu ma'am. I think if further questions are there, please address it to, we'll leave an email ID with you, and we'll definitely reach it out to the panelists, and we will address those questions. Moving on, I request Ms. Usha Ramalingam to felicitate the panelists and the moderator. Ma'am, please come on the stage. Usha ma'am is our proud PHA member, and Tamil Nadu chapter will hopefully soon launch with her collaboration. May I first invite Ms. Meenu Tognata to come forward for the felicitation. Please, sir. Meenu ma'am. Meenu ma'am, please. Meenu ma'am, to be felicitated. Next, I request for the felicitation of Mr. Niranjan Khatri. Mr. Niranjan Khatri. Request ma'am to felicitate Ms. Maya Chauhan next. Next felicitation is for Ms. Maya Chauhan. Our next felicitation is for Mr. Sridhar. Our next felicitation is for Dr. Madhu Chandok. A big thank you to all the panelists and the moderator for such wonderful discussions. Thank you very much.